NASA making a historic announcement today that the Voyager probe has entered interstellar space, that place between the stars. It's now out beyond the sun's heliosphere.
Far beyond the orbit of Pluto, in the cold, silent reaches of the heliopause where the sun's influence gives way to the vast expanse of interstellar space, Voyager 1 continued its lonely journey. Launched in 1977, the spacecraft had long surpassed the expectations of its creators. Enduring the relentless exposure to cosmic rays, micrometeorites, and the sheer passage of time. For years, it transmitted data from a region no human-made object had ever touched, a realm untouched by the solar wind, where magnetic fields shift in unfamiliar patterns. And then it happened. In an unassuming data stream relayed back from over 15 billion miles away, an anomaly emerged. Something was moving in space, something uncharted, unexpected, and utterly baffling. And it wasn't a planet. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The signal first appeared as a subtle disruption in the low-frequency plasma wave instrument data. Nothing so obvious as to ring alarm bells at first. Voyager had registered many such spikes before. Fluctuations from passing interstellar shocks, turbulence from distant supernova remnants, or residual solar activity echoing across unimaginable distances. But this signal had a rhythm. Not merely a pulse or a tremor, it was coordinated, deliberate, and most unnerving of all, mobile. The object revealed itself slowly, like a shadow forming against the backdrop of a star-strewn canvas. Its presence wasn't directly visible. No camera remained functional on Voyager 1 to offer a visual. Yet through changes in magnetic field vectors and subtle variations in cosmic ray intensities, a form began to take shape. A large structure moving with intention, not dictated by gravitational dance, but by a force seemingly internal, directional, and possibly intelligent. It moved in ways unlike anything cataloged, not in orbit, nor tumbling or drifting as space debris would. Instead, it shifted laterally through space, crossing trajectories at odds with conventional astrophysics. It neither followed the gravitational pull of nearby celestial bodies, nor did it appear to be influenced by solar or galactic tides. Even its velocity fluctuated unpredictably, sometimes accelerating briefly before settling into a near-stationary hover, as though pausing to observe or wait. The first implication was a jarring one. This object did not adhere to the expected rules of non-terrestrial motion. Astrophysical phenomena typically conform to predictable dynamics. Even comets with chaotic orbits obey Newtonian logic. But this moved like something navigating. That notion changed everything. It shifted the interpretation from natural to potentially artificial, and if artificial, then something constructed it. That possibility crashed into the world of science like a tidal wave. From the moment Voyager's instruments recorded the recurring disturbances, one conclusion became more plausible with each passing data packet. Whatever it wasn't an asteroid or a rogue planet. Its consistent electromagnetic emissions suggested internal energy generation, not merely reflective material bouncing back cosmic rays or light, but radiated energy. Not natural thermal radiation either. This pattern hinted at modulation, a kind of artificial resonance. Even the orientation of the object seemed reactive. Each time Voyager's signal adjusted, the pattern shifted too, as if acknowledging the probe's presence. The implications were monumental. For decades, humanity had gazed into the cosmos wondering if we were alone, sending golden records, signals, and hope into the void. Voyager, carrying its own message in the form of a time capsule from Earth, had journeyed farther than anything built by human hands. And now, something had noticed. The movement of the object was not random, it was relational, it responded. It wasn't a case of simply drifting past a passive observer. It was more like two silent travelers suddenly aware of each other's presence in the infinite darkness. This discovery shattered the long-held framework through which space was studied. The very idea that something, perhaps someone else, might be maneuvering through interstellar space with intent reframed how scientists viewed cosmic silence. The Fermi paradox, a term long used to encapsulate the contradiction between the high probability of extraterrestrial life and the lack of contact, suddenly felt less paradoxical. Maybe others were out there all along, only choosing moments, places, and means far beyond the radar of typical human detection. That this moment occurred at the edge of the heliopause added to its mystique. The boundary between our sun's domain and the interstellar medium is not just a spatial demarcation. It represents a symbolic frontier. On one side lies the familiar system of planets, moons, and solar cycles. Beyond that, The Milky Way stretches into unknowable vastness. For Voyager to encounter something right at that threshold suggested deliberation, as if the object, or the force behind it, waited there with purpose. No known technology on Earth could explain the precision of the object's motion. While advanced propulsion systems, such as ion drives or theoretical warp bubbles, have been explored in academic papers and science fiction alike, none had been realized at such a scale, nor used in the vacuum of deep space. The object moved in silence but with force, unperturbed by the ambient chaos of charged particles and gravitational interference. Even more perplexing was the apparent interaction with the local magnetic field. Data showed the object manipulating the heliospheric current sheet, the spiraling wave of magnetic influence emitted by the sun. It twisted the sheet, bent it briefly as if pulling a curtain, then let it fall back into place. No natural body could enact such a change. It was an action with consequence, not coincidence. The possibility of an autonomous machine emerged next. Perhaps this wasn't a piloted vessel, but a probe, much like Voyager itself, sent to chart the edge of another civilization's domain. The symmetry was almost poetic. Two artifacts meeting in the great in-between, each born from the curiosity of their creators. But this one was different. It seemed older, wiser, and far more capable. Whereas Voyager rode the momentum of its launch and the occasional gravity assist, this object bent its path at will. If it was a probe, then what kind of civilization had created it? The scale and endurance of such a device would demand not only advanced engineering, but a profound understanding of the universe's fabric. A civilization capable of manipulating magnetic fields across astronomical units, regulating energy emissions over millennia, and guiding a vessel through interstellar gulfs could not be in its infancy. This was not the work of a race dabbling in its first spacewalks or planetary exploration. This was the handiwork of a species that had already mastered its own system and was reaching outward with precision. The object's reaction to Voyager raised a final unsettling implication. It had noticed us before. It was not reacting for the first time, but adjusting to a presence it already recognized. Whether from the golden record aboard Voyager, or the telemetry it broadcast back toward Earth, something in our tiny ambassador's digital soul had triggered a response. The object did not rush toward Voyager nor retreat. It hovered in alignment, matching motion, maintaining a curious silence. What occurred next was even more mysterious. As Voyager continued to transmit, a secondary pulse began to echo back, not from Earth, but from beyond the probe. A faint signal layered into the static, coded not in human language, but rhythm. It resonated at a frequency too perfect to be natural, like the beat of a mathematical heart. The sequence was brief, consistent, and then gone. Voyager's instruments caught it once and never again. It was as if the object had blinked, offered a nod across the stars, and moved on. The brevity of the event did not diminish its weight. Every byte of data captured was pored over, every waveform analyzed to exhaustion. Scientists debated whether it was a greeting, a scan, or a warning. But amid all the speculation, one fact remained beyond dispute. Something moved in the interstellar dark. Something aware. Something watching. Back on Earth, the philosophical gravity of the event began to ripple outward. For centuries, humanity had gazed skyward, unsure if we were shouting into emptiness or whispering into a listening void. With Voyager's encounter, the silence had cracked. Not broken, not shattered, but shifted. The galaxy was no longer simply a backdrop for human exploration. It had become an active stage, one where other players might already be acting. There was no visual confirmation, no dramatic transmission, no unmistakable sign of life, but there was motion, deliberate, undeniable motion, from something not governed by planetary inertia or stellar mechanics. It was not a planet, not a comet, not a wandering moon. It was not of Earth, nor was it known to the maps of astronomers. It was the unknown, moving. Voyager had been designed as a messenger, not a scout. Yet, in its persistence, it became both. Its encounter with the moving object marked a silent revolution in cosmic understanding. No longer was the space between stars merely empty. It was populated maybe not with civilizations as we know them, but with their artifacts, their ambitions, and their presence. As the object receded into the data stream, returning only silence, Voyager continued its voyage. It did not stop to follow, nor could it. Bound by its simple thrust and aged circuitry, it drifted forward, carrying the echo of an encounter few could have imagined. It would continue to send back its reports until its power failed, a blind witness with no eyes, telling its tale in numbers and frequencies. What it saw, or rather, what it sensed, was more than just a physical event. It was a glimpse into the possibility that the cosmos is not silent by nature, only patient. That perhaps the universe waits for its participants to reach the right threshold before revealing more of its design. Voyager may have brushed that threshold, scratched the surface of something vast, ancient and deliberate, and in that cold dark, where the sun is but another pale star behind it, something moved. It wasn't a planet, it wasn't a star, and for the first time, humanity knew we are not alone in the moving silence of space. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Voyager's find? What do you think it is? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.